All right, let's talk about our course setup. So in Canvas, you'll see on the homepage, I'll put any important announcements on here. Please make sure that you are reading all of them. I don't put up stuff just because I feel like it. I do it because it's something that's important for you to know. You'll also see your to-do list. I put every assignment for the entire term is already linked in here and ready to go, as well as the due dates and all of the things. So hopefully that'll help you all stay organized and not miss out on stuff. My job is, I'm hoping that we can get everyone to pass this class, and that would be insanely amazing. Okay, for the syllabus, I am definitely not going to read this, but I want you to read it, and I'm just going to point out a few things that you should know. So when you go to the syllabus page, you'll see this calendar, and you can see these dates in gray. Those are always, you're going to see that every Tuesday and Friday, because that's when we have things due. Here's how your grading breakdown is. And if you scroll down in the syllabus, there's two things I just wanted to show you. So one is the grading elements. There's 4 elements to your grade. I kind of talked about that in the last video, but I really want you to read through this because I go a little more in depth here. And then the last thing that I recommend is this course calendar. So the end of the syllabus has this, and one of the best things you can do is either put these assignments in your phone, in the calendar on your phone, and have little alerts go off. Because again, with online, you don't have a teacher just sitting right there making you do it. It's on you to make sure they get done. So that way, that's kind of like me being on your calendar, being like, remember to do this assignment. So that way you don't fall behind, because once you fall behind, it's really hard to catch back up. All right, when we jump into modules, that's where you're going to find everything you need for this course. And I have everything linked out there. In this getting started, you're going to see our My Open Math student guide. So this tells you how to sign up. My Open Math is the online homework platform that we use in here. Everything that I chose to use in here is free. So we have a free textbook. The online homework system is free. I'm trying to do what I can do to save you guys some money. This is the most important thing. If you did not do this yet, please make sure that you fully read the student guide to virtually proctored exams. This brings you through exactly what the expectations are, what it's going to look like, and what you need to have in place technology-wise to be able to take your exams virtually proctored through me. Link to the textbook. You honestly won't need the textbook unless you really like reading a textbook. Wendy and I, when we created these videos, so again, I created these videos along with Wendy Fresh, who you'll hear is actually doing the voiceovers for them. But when we created these, we created them so they covered everything you would need for the entire class. Because let's just be for real, most of us learn by watching a video, not by reading a textbook. So I tried to set it up for you so that you would just have to watch videos and take notes. Speaking of taking notes, so as you're watching those videos in those learning assignments, there are these note packets that you will be filling out. So for example, if you open up that first one, you will see this goes along with the first 3 weeks of content. And if this ever does decide to load, again, oh man, this is too big for it's going to make it crash. So make sure you download it. But when you've got them up there, what'll happen is as you're watching the videos, you'll see that each in this notes packet, it has the slides already in there with any pictures or any example verbiage. So you're not having to copy that down, but you're copying down all the steps and things. All right, so now let's get into what a typical week looks like. So a typical week, well, week 1's not a typical week, but let's just look at week 2 and then we'll go back to week 1. Typical week on Tuesdays, we have a quiz. So you'll take your quiz. It's in My Open Math. So when you click on the link, it just tells you to go to My Open Math, and then you're going to find this quiz in there, and I'll show you how to find it. And you will find the quiz, and then you are required to turn in your written work for the quiz. So for every quiz question, you should be doing written work and turning that in. If I don't have written work from you where you're showing every single step, I'm going to end up giving you a 0 on that question. So please make sure that you are showing all of your work so that I make sure that the work you turn in is your own. And that way too, I can give you feedback on any notation or any issues or whatnot. And I can give you partial credit if you missed a question on the quiz, but just dropped a negative. I use your work to look at that, and I'll go back and readjust your quiz score, which always helps boost scores. You'll find the learning assignments. So again, on Tuesdays, we've got our quiz over the previous week and learning assignments. And then on Fridays is when we have those practice assignments. Now, again, these will tell you to go out to My Open Math to see this. So I'm going to take you guys all to My Open Math. And when you are there, you will find our course, which looks like this. And so, for example, if you're in week 2, you'll see in week 2, there's the link to your quiz. there's those learning assignments, and then there's those practice assignments. So all of that is linked right in there for you. Okay, now let's talk about week 1, because week 1's a little different. So in week 1, we have this course introduction assignment, which is what you're in right now. And then one of the other things that's unique is I require every one of my online students to do a one-on-one introductory meeting with me. And so that's done on Zoom. It's not scary. We don't talk math, I promise, unless you want to. But it's more of a way for you to get to know me to get to know you, and to kind of build that relationship. That's the only thing required Zoom meeting that we have outside of exams. And then there's also a prerequisite assignment that we're doing this first week, just to make sure your prerequisites are where they should be. And if you have not had Math 111 here and you're finding that you're struggling on those prerequisite assignments, that should be a good indicator that you should bump down and take Math 111 first. All right, so we've talked about the first week, what a typical week looks like, which is like week 2 and week 3. And now let's talk about what an exam week looks like. So for exams, you're going to have, I always make sure to have a review and a fully worked out case step by step. And then you're always going to have a quiz still. But when you get to the exam, I've got this exam information, and that kind of goes over all the things you need to know. Make sure you've refreshed your memory on the student guide for virtually proctored exams so that you're ready to go for those. When you go to take your exam with me, there's a link that pops up here, and that first link is going to take you to the exam on My Open Math, and I'll give you a password. Before you take your exam, you want to have this exam work page printed off. So this is just a way for you to show your work, and to do it, we'll say you need to show your work, and then like these types of questions, like number 3, it says you can't use a calculator on it. Or like number 4, you can't use a calculator, but you also don't have to show your work. So this kind of is a way for you to know what you need to show work on, what you can't show work, or what you don't have to, and then what you're allowed a calculator or not calculator on. And I'll be monitoring calculator usage. There are no handheld calculators allowed during the exam, so you'll actually be using Desmos when you're taking your tests. They have a 4-function calculator, a scientific calculator, and a graphing calculator on it. And they're so easy to use, and they're free, so you don't have to buy anything, which is even better. So you'll have this exam work page printed before you come in to take your test with me. Everyone will come into the room at 5:30. I check everyone off, check your workspace, make sure you have nothing there that you shouldn't have. Make sure that all of the tabs on your computer are closed, and then I check your ID to make sure it's actually you. And then once I have checked you in and everyone is there, at 6 p.m. sharp is when I will give you guys the password for this first exam. And then everyone will go in and take the exam as I watch on Zoom. And then once you're done with the exam, you'll come back to this exam one work page link and you'll upload your work pages. Biggest reason for the work pages, multiple things. One, a lot of the time people will miss a question on the test, but it's just because of a minor error. I don't want you to miss a full 6 points when you should be able to get a ton of partial credit for the test. So that's the biggest reason why I have this exam work page, is I want to see your thought process. I want to see your steps so that I can give you back as much credit as I can for any questions you miss. Typically, once I go through the exam work page, it bumps students' grades up by a minimum of 10%, typically 20 to 30. So at least 1 letter grade, if not 2 to 3. And that's how exams work in here. And that's kind of it. You'll see your grade here where you can always see what's going on with your grade. I upload all the grades from My Open Math once a week. And then the people Zoom meeting, so the Zoom links for our exam is right here. So you'll click on that and that will take you to our exam link. I have not uploaded that yet if you're watching this at the beginning of the term, but before we have our exam, it will be uploaded in there. And I think that's about it. So, all right, I hope we have a great term. And let me know if you have any questions as you're going through. I'm here to help and support you. Okay, bye.